just feel my dream. I just feel my shine. 空に with the light.
Girls und Panzer.
It looks like
Girls und Panzer.
due to international copyright laws, it's not. Still, we should run like it is.
Girls und Panzer.
No, it isn't.
Guten Tag, everybody. How's it going? Screezel here, and I hope you're all well. And welcome to some beautiful Wehraboo action today. I recently saw a new release on Steam, and I couldn't help myself because it reminded me so much of Girls und Panzer. This is Fanta Nights, a new game released on Steam. It's just come out of early access. Relatively interesting looking game as well, and kind of fun from what I've experienced of it. I've given it a little bit of a play. There are a few issues. There's a few. There are a few issues, especially with spelling. That's something I noticed right away. But it's an interesting game nonetheless, and it's something I've been having a little bit of fun in so far. So I thought I would bring us this one and see how we go with it. So first up, it's a military action game. It very much follows. It's sort of like a hybrid chimera of World of Tanks and War Thunder. You have a lot of options for tanks, of course. Generally Wehrmacht tanks, but you do have the option of captured tanks as well. So we've got things like the Matilda, we've got the Shah. So we have a few interesting tanks, and of course many Soviet tanks as well to enjoy and play with later down the track. But quite a few tanks, and they are very prettily, they're very nice little models on the tanks. Now, one of the things I find most interesting about this is the fact it actually has an armor system and sort of a damage model. I was a bit shocked by this. So let us go with the starting mission. We're going to go with our Panzer III as fifth E, and really just show you a mission. So this is basically the game. So we'll start here. Now, when you start out, you're in a 38T or a Panzer II. So you've got the options. Now, first issue is this text. Listen to it. It's like Daikatana's loading screen. Oh, it's terrible. For some reason, you can't turn the text noise off. So you can skip it, but it still makes that horrible noise. So effectively, you have your crew, which are these wonderfully made anime girls. And you have the story of World War II, effectively, told in an anime format. Sorry, I think I just tapped my microphone there. The writing's a little bit on the nose sometimes, but it is interesting how they portray it. So the Polish army has attacked a German radio station. As we all know, is how World War II started. The Poles attacking the German radio station and making war happen. Yeah, so it follows history, kind of, but in a loose way. So we are a member of the Wehrmacht, of course, and we are in the Panzer Corps. So we will get started very shortly. Now, in the text scenes, there's no voice acting. However, once you get into the campaign mode, you do actually get some voice acting coming along, which is not. It gets a little bit much at some stages. Anyway, let's start off. So we are the leader of this corps here. So we've got a 38T, 38T, and a 38T, and then a unit of Panzer II SFDs. Now you can choose which way you want to go. So if you go left or right, the other group will follow that lead for you. So let's go left this time. Now, as you can see, there are a few options of ammunition. So you have APC-BC, APCR and high explosive shells. You also have smoke rounds, you've got artillery, and you've got a repair key, as well as a heal key as well. You can also change the formation of your AI buddies effectively as well, telling them to stop, follow, or follow in a line. So let's get started. So we're going to move along. There is a 7TP over there coming in on us. We get some hull damage on it. And this is where the noise gets a little bit much. And we take out two 72 TPs. Now, your armor will actually bounce shots. If you position the tank right, you can actually bounce shots and protect yourself. We've been spotted. Let's see if we can make this work. The TKS coming along as well. As you see, it's got the world of tanks sort of things go invisible if they're not spotted. We've left our broadside open a little bit there, but that's okay. We can get this working. Taking some damage to the tank, but we're okay. Try and get some cover here. But angling does work, and you can use a few different things as well. It's kind of cool in that respect. This guy's flanking us. So we've taken some damage. Missed that shot. With that shot. Okay, so we got them down. So we'll do a quick repair, because our hull is a bit damaged, as well as our gun breech. So we'll get the repair done. So it's a little bit like arcade mode in the fact you can repair things. So it has that arcadey feel to it in that respect. But it's a fun little system, as I said. Obviously, I've not had the chance to properly test out anything with massive armour. But going up against a Shah B2 at one stage was an interesting experience. We've got some allies over there. RNG not on our side. See if we get some shots in on these guys. There we go. Aiming wise, it's a little bit... It is a little bit off sometimes. I'm still getting very much used to that. And I do find sometimes it can be a bit RNG reliant as well. So the hitboxes can be a little bit iffy. So we've managed to take out that guy's turret. We'll switch to HE actually right here. See what we can do. See if we can stop whiffing shots. But the way it works is kind of fun, and HE actually has a purpose too. So you can do some good damage with HE rounds. And effectively, if you're fighting something with high armor values, you need to use HE on them, because otherwise you can't do much at all. So we're chipping away at this 7TP at the moment. RNG gods are not really on our side for our aiming.
素晴らしい。装填完了。砲撃準備よし。弾薬を装填
Switch
しま
back
した。
to the APC-BC.
目標に照準。装填完了。砲撃準
Okay,
備
we're
よ
not
し。
having much luck there, so what we're going to
弾薬を
do
装填しました。
is we're going to call in an artillery strike on them.
応答せよ。補給
So
物資を空中投下するんだ。
We're going to call in an airdrop on those enemy vehicles. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's the supply drop. Whoopsie doodle. That's the one I want. That's the better one.
マークシステムに爆撃支援を。
So you can get supply drops, and you can also drop artillery as well. So the artillery is pretty bloody strong, but it can damage your allies as well. So we managed to take out all of the enemy tanks over there now. So that's good news in that respect. So you can get supply drops for yourself, and effectively they'll resupply your ammunition as well as your heals. So if you're struggling, you can get some help in that respect.
敵の戦車を発見。
So we've got another enemy over there. Not spotted us yet. Damage to the hull. And
take
take him out.
弾薬を装填しました。
So it works a lot like it's a bit like World of Tanks mixed with War
止
Thunder.
まれ。
As I said, it's an interesting little mix of things, but it is quite fun and it's quite challenging as well. The AI is maybe not the best. It still needs a little tweak. So we've managed to take the bridge, and now we need to go and take the mountains.
攻撃。
So we also have the option of a secondary mission of going for these areas here to take out the reinforcements. So probably going to want to take out those reinforcements. We've got some 7TPs. We've got one lurking around the back of this house.
目標に照準。目標に命中。よし。弾薬を装填しました。砲弾装填中。
And as you see, do bounce some shots as well.
砲弾装填中。弾薬を装填しました。
Let's get
装
into
填完了。砲撃準備
a
よし。
little bit of cover. But armor does work. There is armor values, which, as I said, I didn't think would be the thing. I thought it would be a hit point system like World of Tanks, in all honesty. But it seems to be a mix of World of Tanks and War Thunder in the way it works.
装填よし。いつでも撃てます。
Because you don't just have the hit point system, you do have damage to modules and things like that.
装填を開始します。
So it makes for a very interesting little mix of things.
目標撃破。装填
Now
完
we
了。
know there's another tank over here. There's a 7TP trying to flank us a little bit. So you can take out tracks as well.
弾薬を装填しました。発砲。装填が遅いぞ。いつでも撃てます。
And tracked vehicles will obviously not be able to move. Got a couple of TKS coming in now.
目標に照準。装填を開始。
How do I bounce off a TKS?
弾薬を装填しました。弾薬を装填しました。くそ、外れた。この次こそは。弾薬を装填しました。装填完了。発砲。砲撃準備よし。
Switch to HE right here just to get a better option. Because these do not like HE rounds.
弾薬を装填しました。
There we go. Okay, a little bit of over penetration there as well.
いつでも撃てます。
But as I said, I was really surprised with how in-depth it actually goes, and it's a surprising little game in that respect. As we get stuck on the hill. Traction gods, come back to me, please. It's surprising in that respect, and there's little stories going along. It's a little bit like, it reminds me a bit of Valkyria Chronicles in its presentation, but as I said, it has that historical context to it as well. So it's this weird mix of actual history and anime girls, you know, which it's not a terrible thing. I think it's developed by a Chinese developer. So damage to the engine. Good old TKS. Of course, based on the Cardin Lloyd originally. You're not having a good time there, friend. But yeah, it's surprisingly fun and in-depth, and it gives you lots of little options that you can play with. There are lots of different tanks as well, of course, and you can use whatever tank you want in the situation. You do have to unlock a few through different modes. I'm actually going to turn the voices down because they are starting to absolutely grate on me. But yeah, considering I thought this game was going to be an absolute dumpster fire, I was pleasantly surprised to find that it isn't. It's actually an okay game. It's brutally hard. I feel like the devs need to add a let's drop some artillery on that position there. Need to add a checkpoint system, in all honesty, because it's a little bit too severe as it stands. If you get killed towards the end of a mission, you've got to start that mission from scratch, and it's a bit frustrating sometimes. So I took out a fair few of them there. We'll get some shots off with the 50mm there. Bounce again. Keep angled here, so we should be okay. Get some damage to our track. It's okay. There we go. Okay. So that's one reinforcement camp taken out. The game is about $35 on Steam, 35 Australian, which isn't too bad. It's, as I said, so far I've been enjoying it, and it's been fun. I'd probably say wait for a bit of a sale to come on, see how it goes, see how it develops, because it has just come out of early access. But if you're a bit of a fan of Girls and Panzer and the sort of the style that it goes for, as they say, the Wehraboo sort of style, I feel like you'll quite enjoy this game. It's basically very much a single-player World of Tanks War Thunder style game, and that's something that I do enjoy, because as much as I enjoy PvP and stuff like that, I do get tired of it, and I do prefer to have a PvE experience sometimes. And I've always wanted a sort of PvE mode for those games, because it gets a bit tiring sometimes just having to fight players and just same old, same old. So having actual fun, interesting missions to focus on can be a fun little experience. Now, with the aiming, you may have noticed that it's a little bit wonky, it feels like. And that's because you're not actually aiming as the gunner. Something to keep in mind is you're not actually aiming as the gunner. The gunner is following you, so that little red crosshair is the gunner's position. You are the commander. So when you turn to position your gun and aim, you're telling that gunner where to fire. So you have to bear in mind that the gunner is very much reliant on, it is that sort of RNG sort of aspect of, you're not actually aiming the gun, they are. We've run out of APC-BC, but we have some rigid core, that's fine. Managed to take them out. We've got a bit of damage to the tank, that's okay. Not okay if caught by that one. Reverse. So yeah, so it is that thing of you are commanding, but you're not actually in full control of the tank. And that might off-put a couple of people just because of that sort of feeling that you sort of, you feel a little bit let down sometimes. But it is a fun thing to have because it's a little bit more, realistic. As I say, as I'm basically playing an anime schoolgirl in a German tank in the Battle of Poland. But the fact that you are effectively the commander, so you are the commander, you are commanding the tank and not controlling everything. You do command when to fire, but it's kind of neat in that respect because you don't always get that in games where you play as a tank. You just basically control everything. You control the tank, the crew, and everything. In this, you do technically control everything, but it is a little bit more R&D, a little bit like World of Tanks in the fact that the crew are actually doing the job for you. Now, we do have some quite severe damage here, so we've got to be a little bit careful. But we've got to go and take out those reinforcements. So, what we'll do is, because we're low on ammunition, we're going to actually pop our repair, and we're going to call in a supply drop. So, we'll call in our supply drop over here. So the airdrop's going to come down and that's going to resupply us for ammunition. And also our health as well. We're going to get more heals. So there's a massive group of TKSs over there. So once more, let us drop a strike on those guys. We'll switch to HE as well, just to finish them off if they do not get absolutely whomped. But that should be that lot absolutely taken care of. So that's the reinforcements done. So we've managed to take out their reinforcements and we're ready to go. Not sure if I can blow up random static trucks. That looks blown up to me. So now let's get on with our mission. So we've used up all of our artillery strikes now, so you only get 3 per match, so those are limited. Same with the airdrops, you only get 3 of those. So if you use all of them up, you're kind of screwed. As I said, the fact that there's no sort of save feature or checkpoint system does hurt the game a little bit, because if you get whomped right now, it is very frustrating to get taken out in the latter stages of the game. Especially if you've only got, say, 1 tank remaining and things like that. It's a bit of a slog sometimes. We'll switch to APCR. Right here. So we've got to get our position in the mountains taken. So let's get this done. Now, when I first played this mission, I didn't see the bonus objective, and I ended up just taking this mountain bit and continuing the mission like normal. That was a big mistake, because what happens is all of those tanks that were sitting inactive, well, they come and hunt you down. So you end up facing an enormous amount of vehicles, and it is very tricky. Alright, let's use our range to our advantage. Got a 7 TP over there. Hull damage. Not pierced. TKS coming in. Take that guy out quickly. The enemy do have a habit of running at you as well. Okay, we're going to pop our smoke. So smoke is popped. So the enemy do have a little bit of a thing of running at you effectively. Terrible, terrible shooting by me. We'll just try and position, just get a little bit of angling going on. But we are pretty much at a bad spot right now. We'll use up our heal. But we can do that while we're sitting here as well. So we'll just try and take out these 7TPs. We should be good for range. We should be relatively hard to take out here. We'll go back to the APCR for this guy, I think. We're struggling to get through his frontal plate. Now we miss, of course. There we go. Some TP over there. Okay, time to blitzkrieg, folks. Charge! So we'll leave some of our AI friends to deal with that one. Managed to damage the turret there. Taking out this guy's turret. Let's see if we can get the final kill. And we've done it. And now we have to take the mountain pass. So we just drive into the circle here. And that's effectively it. And that's the sort of game that you're playing. So as I say, it's very much a single player sort of World of Tanks World of Tanks War Thunder style thing, but it has a fun little system to it, and it does have that little bit of storytelling and just general weebery, really. I mean, it's very weeby like. And for the few things I dislike, they're outweighed by the thing of actually it's kind of fun. So it's the areas that you know cause it to have some issues don't really take away from the game too much, as I said. And I feel like it's one of those sort of games that as it goes on it will get a little bit better, and it's still got a lot of areas to go. As I said, we've got the option of going to the garage and we can buy ourselves some new vehicles. So we could buy, say, a Stuk. And of course, they all have different armor values and things like that. We could actually buy, well, we're almost close to buying a Panzer IV as FT. But there are lots of little options in there as well, and it does have that very that sort of world. Guns and Panzer sort of feel to it. You know, it does really have that vibe to it in that respect, but it does have its own thing going on, and I think it's about as close as we're going to get to a Girls and Panzer sort of game on the PC, unfortunately. It has got a good selection of vehicles, and the system that works, you know, you do have at the end of every battle, and at the beginning of every battle as well, you do have the sort of chatting and a little bit of history and things like that, which is kind of cool. The battle plans and everything like that. It's a very history light game. You also have your officers, of course, and there's some interesting commentary between the two of them. And I'm just going to skip out of that because I cannot deal with that noise at the moment. I've sort of already said to the devs, yeah, maybe you want to get rid of that noise because it's very frustrating. But everything's interesting in that. And you can also level up your crew as well. So with the points that you earn, you can use that to level up your crew. They all have their individual little personalities as well. So they've got their little stories and things like that, which again makes it interesting. And you don't just have to play as girls. You actually have a male crew as well. So you have your male anime crew as well. Shirtless Carl Muller here, of course, based off of me. I know it's embarrassing, really, but they had to base it off of somebody. But it is very anime-like. The anime is so strong with this. It is so weebery. But I kind of love it. You know, that's the thing that drew me to it. So yeah, let me know what you think. I might do another video on this one later down the track. If you've checked it out as well, let me know what your thoughts are as well. I would recommend it, in all honesty. Maybe on sale rather than full price, but you are supporting an independent dev by getting it, so that is a big thing. If this is a game that you kind of think, no, I actually think I would enjoy it, I think you would as well. If you enjoy War Thunder and World of Tanks, you will have fun in this. It is a fun little experience. Alright guys, until next time, this is me, Carl Screezilla, wishing you all a wonderful night, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
I just feel my shine.